Hi, this is Lisa Kelly, Notre Dame author and class of 1993, and you are watching the Two Irish Brothers show. Cheers and go Irish!
How's it going, everyone? I'm Sean Moriarty.
I'm Benjamin Walters. Welcome in.
Yep, exactly. This is the Two Irish Brothers show. Welcome. Both of us are in a much better mood this week. Before we go any further, you guys know the drill. Hit the subscribe tab at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Like or dislike the video because it helps with the algorithm purposes and helps us get more out there. And hit that bell icon after you subscribe so that way you always know when new content is uploaded on this channel or if we go live. Then, great recovery for the Irish this past weekend.
Yes.
Now there could be
it was
things
very interesting.
Yes, there could be some things that were different, but we'll get to that. But to go from a very disappointing and embarrassing loss to an average at best Northern team, I'll take a 66-7 victory over Purdue any day.
Yes. Yes. How to address this? Because we have done a 180 every game this season so far. Like, we went from Texas A&M, did what we had to do on the road, got the victory, which is a hard thing to do in Kyle Field, to then utterly embarrassing ourselves with Northern Illinois to absolutely obliterating Purdue in this game. 66 to, what was that, 10? 7.
What?
66 to 7, sorry.
Yes, 66-7.
So, what to make of? I mean, who does this? Like, is that fair to say? Like, is it fair to say that? Like, who does this?
No, I put
Notre Dame. Like,
I put that same thing on our Twitter page. How does this happen?
I mean, and I'm just gonna say what everybody else is thinking and saying probably too. Where was this last week?
I know.
At home. At home. Seriously, at home. Like it just bothered me. Like that kind of that's gonna be a few of my nitpicks for this one. It's like, okay, it was fantastic. It was fantastic seeing Notre Dame just absolutely obliterate Purdue. Like, it was fantastic, as opposed to having us be upset and nervous the entire game. We really only had like one quarter where we were a little nervous, and then the second quarter happened, and it was all over. You know, like, I mean, the game was over.
I can relax the rest of the day.
Halftime, it was warm up the bus, Purdue, and go back to your dorm rooms, So what to make of it? I don't know. And we're going to get a little deeper in it in a minute, but
well, I think we should probably address the unfortunate things that came out of that game.
Let's start with the really bad. We'll start with the really bad.
Oh, the first thing is, as the news has pointed out already, it's official. We've lost 3 key players, 2 of them for the rest of the season, and that is our Viper, Jordan Botello, and I feel so bad for this kid. He's worked so hard. Ashton Craig, our center, and the key word there, center, because it's a key position.
Yes.
Billy Schraith, I didn't see, but it sounds like he's going to be back, but I don't think he's going to be active for the next game against Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, I think it's an unknown timetable, but we'll see.
But the main thing is we lost three key players in this game, and 2 of them are out for the season. And I got to ask you first, Ben, because I'm not sure exactly what to make of that. And this is a stupid question, I know, but how do you think that's going to affect the rest of our season going forward? I mean, you can't replace a guy like Patello just like that.
No.
And we're already thin at O-line as it is with Craig.
I think it hurts, but we really only have 2 games left on this schedule that we need. Well, really 1. We only have 1 game left on this schedule that we need to be worried about. And I'll let everybody figure that one out.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Because, I mean, Florida State's 0-3. They just lost to Memphis. So, like, as bad as it sucked losing to Northern Illinois, it could always be that bad. Like, it could always be that bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think we'll be okay. It's not good. It's not good. Especially, like you said, we're thin at line. But we'll be okay. Yeah. We'll be okay.
I hope so too. But you always hate seeing guys go down, especially key players, because not only are we thin at offensive line, but we're young.
Yeah.
And so let's get into the game itself. You were ready to start, so I'll let you throw the first shot.
This is not Riley Leonard's team. It isn't.
I like where you're starting. I have a few thoughts on this myself, but please continue.
This isn't. It is Angeli's team. Freeman can say all he wants that it is Riley's job, but I don't like it. I don't agree. Yeah, I don't make what Freeman makes, and yeah, I'm not the coach, but when it comes to coaching, I have lost a lot of respect for Freeman in the last couple of weeks. Great person. We'll start there. Great person. But I just don't think he has it. I don't think he has it. Not with at least Notre Dame, and not with the young tenure that he has as a head coach. The fact that he is saying that Riley stayed within the game plan and did what he needed to do infuriates me. It infuriates me. And on the same side of that coin, saying, I can't think of our punter's name,
Rendell.
saying the exact same thing with our punter and saying that in few words, he's good and we need to not expect much more from him. It's like, well, then why did you bring him in?
Yeah.
Why did you bring him and let it in? Like, I'm sorry. How much are we paying these guys? Like, what's the NIL for both of them? Rhetorical question there. But, like, come on. Like, it infuriates me. It is absolutely ridiculous that our multi-million-dollar quarterback that is Riley Leonard has not thrown a touchdown pass. It's even more ridiculous that Angeli, or maybe it's not, Angeli has. Well,
here's the thing.
What's your thoughts?
Let me just say this. What you said about sticking to the game plan. Do you really think that's what I don't buy that for a second. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm talking about Freeman in this case. If that was a game plan to just be super, super run heavy like that, and just I know some of those were design runs, but not all of them were. A couple of them were because he couldn't see anybody or nobody was open, one of the two. But I don't think you're designing your offense, unless you're one of the service academies, to just run all the time. At least not Notre Dame.
Right.
No, Marcus just isn't telling the truth there. Because that wasn't just, I guarantee you that was not just their game plan. He wants to see Riley throw. And this is something that people think that we don't acknowledge, or at least people think that I don't acknowledge. Yeah, I know there's a problem with the passing game. Leonard hasn't done a great job at it. That's just fair.
It's the second year in a row. It's the second year in a row that we've gone after a transfer portal quarterback, expected them to be something, and they haven't been it.
Yes, exactly. And I
And
like Sam
then
Hart.
the point of the matter is, then why are you recruiting guys like Angeli to the program if you're just going to go and get a transfer portal quarterback?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So when Coach Freeman says that he's just following the game plan, no, that's a lie. That's not what your game plan was. You wanted to see a lot more passing, but you knew that he was making mistakes. And here's another thing too. People like to say that our receivers are crap. That's not true. Because I've gone back and I've looked at replays. Riley is missing a lot of wide open guys.
Oh, his reads are awful. I mean, his reads are absolutely awful. Like, we had multiple guys open that he didn't even glance at last week against Northern Illinois. Once again with Purdue. Like, the stats, I mean, like, we'll go to the stats. Like, look at the stats here. Riley Leonard was 11 of 16 for 112 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, a long of 23 yards. 23 yards. As a multi-million-dollar transfer portal quarterback. 23 yards. Okay. Go down the line. Steve Angeli, 6 of 9 for 100 yards, 12 less than Riley Leonard, for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a long of 42.
That
says almost doubled it.
Right there.
Almost doubled Riley Leonard's long. And do we not think that there's an issue here? Like, I am sorry. Like, the same defense that Riley Leonard went up against in Purdue went up against Steve Angeli. And Angeli made him look worse than Riley Leonard did, in my opinion.
Well, and also, I know this is awkward, too, for a lot of people watching, because you're probably thinking, well, guys, we just won 66-7. How can you be talking about this for the majority of the show so far? Just getting it out of the way. We're just acknowledging the obvious.
It works against Purdue. That's the thing. That's the issue here. Okay, it works against a team like Purdue. It'll work, hopefully, against a team like Miami of Ohio next week. But
I hope so.
Will it work against a Florida State team? Will it work against a Georgia Tech team? Will it work against Southern Cal? Well, I can guarantee you and tell you that it's not going to work against Southern Cal.
Will it work against Louisville even?
So that's the issue here. I love the fact that we won. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's like, we should have put up 80. Like, I'm not going to be like that. But we've been here before. And I feel like this was just another situation where Freeman did what he had to do to save his job and get the pressure off of him. Now it's like, oh, okay, we don't have to worry about Northern Illinois anymore. Like, it's in the rearview mirror, and we killed Purdue, and we're on the right track again. No, we're not. This is the potential. See, this is why I get angry, because this is the potential. We have the potential to do this every freaking game. Every freaking game. When we play a team like Purdue, we should be putting up 66 points. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. But then we get complicit, like I said in the recap of Northern Illinois. And that's what happens. And Freeman's got to figure it out. And I don't think it's going to work. I just don't. And I hate being pessimistic about that, but I just don't think it's going to work.
Well, Riley's passing has gotten worse through 3 games. Texas A&M, like I said in the last video, you can understand that. But to play that bad against Northern and no better against Purdue,
right?
I mean, that's regression. I don't like seeing that. And yeah, and I gotta say, it's pretty sad that your first 2 as a team, your first 2 passing touchdowns of the season come from your backup quarterback. And one thing I want to point out with Steve Angeli real quick is he's not off the hook from criticism here too. He has some issues himself, like holding on to the ball way too long. So that's something that's got to change with him, especially if he has a chance to be the starting quarterback going forward here.
Like, absolutely phenomenal. Hands down, hats off, however you want to say it. Jeremiah Love, 10 attempts, 109 yards, a touchdown, 48-yard long. can't ask for much more than that. I mean, week in and week out, Jeremiah Love has done what he needs to do.
Yes, same with
Darian Price gets another notable eight carries for 87 yards and all that, and a touchdown. So I love that, but I don't like seeing Riley Leonard with 3 rushing touchdowns and 100 yards rushing on 11 attempts. I get that you're a dual threat quarterback. I get that you're a dual threat quarterback, or supposed to be a dual threat quarterback. Supposed to be. I get that. But something's got to give here.
The whole team, the whole offense has to be involved. and myself with the way the passing's going, it feels, and we've got a damn good group of receivers here. Don't let anybody tell you different. And this crap that Freeman can't recruit the receivers is bullshit. But with no passing, it sounds like that they're just sitting there going to waste.
Well, yeah, you don't have a quarterback that can get them the ball. That's what
I'm getting at. Is if he's not able to throw, then you got to find a solution to that. But I'm happy with what he's doing on the ground. I'm happy with the running back core. I'm glad that offensive line, despite the loss of a couple guys, are maturing. I think it's great. But you have to have all the elements of the offense. Run, pass, blocking.
Yeah.
Well, we're missing one key one.
We know that we can run the ball. We've been running the ball for a decade and a half. Like, no big deal. Like, we get that. The thing that has been lacking is our receiving game. All these other schools have taken a step up and upgraded to we can run the ball and pass the ball. Where it used to be run. Michigan, run. Ohio State, run. Alabama, run. Notre Dame, run. Now it's run and pass, Ohio State. Run and pass, Alabama. Run and pass, Clemson. Run and pass, Southern Cal. Run and pass, Georgia. Run for Notre Dame.
Notice the trend here. Notice the trend.
So you have to evolve with the game. It's fun seeing the wing tee from time to time. It's fun seeing big bruisers get the ball and run people over. But it's also a lot of fun seeing an air raid. And we sure as hell do not have anything like that at Notre Dame.
Well, and your offense can't be one-dimensional either, because eventually
once they stop one, which we've seen against elite opponents, then we're done for.
You can't be one-dimensional.
We're done for.
Yeah, and all it's going to take is one drive where the defense figures you out, and then you're screwed for the rest of the game. So something's got to be done about this passing game of ours. And I don't know how you feel. Would you consider doing a 2-quarterback system, Ben?
No.
Yeah, because
it needs to be one or the other. No two. If you want to put in a specialist like on a goal line situation, that doesn't, in my opinion, count as a 2-quarterback system. Like when Florida was in the national title against Ohio State with Chris Leak and Tim Tebow as a freshman. Okay, on like 3rd and 1 or goal to go or whatever, they gave Tebow the ball because he was just that big. Yeah. That's way different than having an actual 2-quarterback system. So no 2 quarterbacks.
Kind of like what Oklahoma did back in like 2012, 2013 with Blake Bell. The Belldozer.
Right. That's way different. So no, I do not want a 2-quarterback system. Either it's Angeli or it's Leonard, and it needs to be Angeli. Let it be Angeli, then pass the reins off to Carr, and let's go from there.
Yeah, because you have to have a functioning passing game, and if Riley's not capable of throwing downfield, then yeah, I agree. There needs to be a change.
You have to start the best guy available. And if the best guy available is Angeli, then it needs to be Angeli. Now, is Angeli as athletically gifted in the running portion as Riley Leonard? No. But you don't have to have a running quarterback to have a successful passing game.
Yeah.
You do not.
That's true.
So,
well, all I know is Coach Freeman, and I like to think that he's a smart guy. I'm certainly not calling him stupid, but there's been a lot of head scratchers this season so far. It's like it's almost like there's something that he's hiding that he hasn't been completely truthful about. And I can understand, like, if he's trying to protect somebody or keep something under wraps that you normally wouldn't want out there. I get it, but you have to acknowledge that this is an issue. You cannot honestly tell me, like I said already in this recap, that was their game plan. Constantly run the quarterback, run, not much passing. Right. You can't tell me that was the game plan.
Well,
you're not fooling anybody.
Do you think there's too much arrogance from Freeman? Like, I get that every head coach is kind of arrogant. Okay, like I get that. It goes with the territory. Like you have to kind of be. And I get that, okay? Because there's always going to be your naysayers, no matter how good or how bad you are. I mean, even Nick Saban had naysayers, and Nick Saban was arguably the greatest coach we've ever seen. So I get that. But at the same time, it's like you have to be willing to admit mistakes. You have to be willing to swallow your pride and solve problems. And the problem is that Riley Leonard is not the quarterback we thought he was going to be.
And to add on to that, be specific what you're swallowing your pride about and saying that was a mistake on. Don't just say we didn't execute. No, specifically say what you messed up on.
I mean, we just saw it. Everybody got this notification on their phone today. Everybody. Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers got benched. Why?
It's pretty obvious.
Same situation Riley Leonard's in. Only difference is Riley Leonard has a 2-1 record. So why is it that one organization is saying, okay, we got to solve this problem, you're benched. And the other organization is saying, no, we're going to keep riding it.
Yeah. I don't know. I could speculate on a lot of things, but I don't know if I should. But all I know is this is something that's got to change. And the sooner Marcus Freeman realizes that, the better. I don't think he's a bad coach. I mean, yeah, that loss to Northern Illinois was bull crap, and I still stand by everything that I've said about it. We lost to a team that was average at best. They may have been the better team that day, but overall, Notre Dame is the better team.
Right.
And so yeah, we once again put a little feel good story for the lesser opponent. They got us in their little quote unquote boneyard and all that. But yeah, when comes a time for Marcus Freeman and his staff to realize that this shit can't happen. Even in a 66-7 blowout, this can't happen. And I feel bad that we're talking about this after a big win. I mean, we should be nothing but smiles and cheering this whole video, but you have to. The fact is, there's 9 games left. We're not out of this thing, as crazy as that might sound to some people.
Yeah.
So,
it's frustrating when you go from not being able to do anything at home to Northern Illinois to absolutely obliterating Purdue on the road.
Yeah,
that's the issue here. If we had struggled against Purdue on the road, like we did against Northern Illinois, and came out with the victory, it would be a different story and it would be a different feeling. Yeah. And it's more frustrating when you know that you can do this, in my opinion, and you don't do it consistently. That's the issue that I have, and that's what frustrates me.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just we got to get it done in the air. Like I said, I feel we've got some excellent receivers in this core. We have Bo Collins and Chris Mitchell, who transferred here. Very talented receivers, both of them. We still have guys here like Jaden Thomas.
It is not a receiving core issue. It's not a receiving core issue right now. It is a quarterback.
I just give props to the receivers, how good they are.
Right. They've been fantastic. And before I go on this rant again, hats off to the defense. Like, let's take a moment to. They absolutely dominated Purdue.
Yes.
Like the defense gets no blame on any of this. Last week, yes. This week, no. And even last week, the defense did enough last week. It was our offense that just couldn't keep pace.
But the defense still had made their fair share of mistakes last week.
Well, they did. They did. But yeah, this week, lights out defense. You know, we couldn't have asked for more than the defense did this week.
I agree. Well, all I know is, Ben, I just pray that this next game against Miami of Ohio, that things start to change, that Riley starts passing better, because, you know, he's still going to be the starting quarterback. Everybody may as well just accept that. But if he can't get the passing game going this week, then if I'm Marcus Freeman, I start considering some changes.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But overall, it was great to see them bounce back with a big win over Purdue like that in convincing fashion. So that does give me a glimmer of hope going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to start fixing the things that need to be fixed.
Slight glimmer. Yep.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I mean, this is a great start to rebounding, but it's not complete.
No. Nope.
So, on that note, Ben, was there anything else that you'd like to add?
I got nothing.
All right. I hope I didn't cut you off at all earlier. I feel like I did.
No worries.
All right. Well, on that note, everyone, I'm Sean Moriarty.
I'm Benjamin Walters.
This has been another edition of the Two Irish Brothers Show. And as we always say, good night, God bless, and go Irish.
Go Irish.